We get to the point where we are paying our bills. We bring in 5,000, but we spend four. We could put that $1,000 in savings, and in 3 months we'll have $3,000. And we're living our life the way we normally would. We're going to put that $3,000 away. So could you then take, in this case, $2,456 of that money and wipe out 1 year on the mortgage of money that you have sitting in a savings account? And we can eliminate the HELOC altogether, and you can use your HELOC to invest in other properties. How does that sound?
Amazing. Sir, I do not, by no means do I want to hog the conversation, but I think, and I want to just add, because I did my research, so a lot of times I listen before I speak, because I'm vetting and trying to see how it coincides with what I've already researched. But I'm a Joe, and you definitely are a pro because you definitely know how to tie the numbers in that regard. So that being said, the thing I could never understand is simple interest versus compound interest. And that's like, I think we're dealing with a more simple form of interest when we buy a car that could be 50,000. We could buy a house for 50,000. That's going to be 30-year mortgage. But if we buy a car, we could pay it off in 5 years. They push 6 and 7, which is kind of new to me because I'm more old school. But either way, how could I pay off the same amount of money takes a whole lot more time to pay off? And is it a matter of simple interest versus compound interest?
Well, let me tell you, every time people ask a question in here, okay, kind of, and I think maybe people may wonder about that. Will he answer that question online? Because that is giving the secret sauce out. And then how does he run a business by giving all of this information out? Did that run across your mind?
Yeah, I mean, that's why I said I don't want to deep dive too much. That was something I had been baffled by for a long time.
Let me tell you something. Somebody told me the more you give, the more you get back. So when you come to this stage, folks, ask anything you want. We'll give you the answer. Okay? But it's putting it all together and making it work seamlessly together. All the different pieces working together is what makes us run. But if you ask a question, so here's what we're talking about. That idea of simple interest and compound interest, get rid of that idea altogether. All of these loans are amortized interest, all of them. They may have different rules, but they're all amortized interest. Okay? Now, with a mortgage, it's amortized interest, but they only calculate that interest monthly after the loan starts. They calculate it monthly after the loan starts, because you can actually, let's say you close on the 15th of the month, but you don't make a payment to the 1st of the month. That's the only time on a mortgage you're paying daily interest. Okay? That's the only time on a mortgage you're paying daily interest. The other times they're charging you interest monthly. Now, when you're paying your mortgage, they only accept full payments, and they apply that payment around the 15th of the month. That's why you get a 15-day grace period, because that's when they apply it. So when you're making, let's say you get a bi-weekly payment program on your mortgage, and you're paying once on the 1st, and you're paying the other half of the payment on the 15th. Most people believe that when they make that first payment, they're saving time and interest. They're not. The bank is holding that money. It's holding that money until you make the second payment around the 15th. Then they apply it to the mortgage, and they calculate that interest monthly. All right. They put it together monthly. Now on a HELOC, all right, the rules are a little different. They still calculate it monthly, but they do it on the average daily balance. They can't do it on your first mortgage that way because those are the rules. It's still an amortized loan, but it's under different rules. And the rules are you're going to pay interest on the average daily balance. This is why when I said when you put your $5,000 in on the HELOC, you immediately start paying less interest because they figure it daily on a HELOC, and your average amount of principal that you have in there, that's what you're going to pay interest on that month. It's on the average daily balance. Totally different rules, but they're all amortized the same way. Okay? How much interest you're going to pay daily is the same on a first mortgage as it is on a second mortgage, but the second mortgage adds another little twist. Even though you're paying daily interest on one is calculated actually daily, but the first mortgage, you're paying daily interest, but you only pay monthly, that you can only affect it monthly. That's how all of this works. That's the difference between the two loans. And this is why you can use somebody else's money to put on your mortgage, even though it's at a higher interest rate. You can affect the daily interest amounts that you pay and pay a tiny bit of interest on a 10% loan that's going to save you a ton of interest on your mortgage because they calculate it monthly. So get rid of that idea of simple interest versus compound interest, because your mortgage, your credit card, your car loans, none of them are compound interest. Did you realize that? They're all amortized interest. And here's another key. Banks charge amortized interest so they can pay compound interest. We receive compound interest. But banks charge amortized interest. So if I had money and I was lending it out, let me please lend it out at amortized rates instead of compound rates, because I would make so much more money if I amortize this thing than if I compound the thing. Desi, I hope that made some sense.
And I'm so grateful, and I'm gonna leave you alone because you just did some education. They talking the education of Laura Hill. That was the education of Desi Wade, and I appreciate it, man. I know you give your best, and I know I'm receiving the best, but I know I don't get out your all. I'm grateful, man, and I'm gonna learn more of how to put it together, like you mentioned, and I appreciate it.
But Don has some valuable information that can contribute to the quality of a person's life, and it only costs you a few dollars. It's his book. Why not get that?
I'm going to go through the P.I.L.L method myself with some of my investment properties. So I'm going to link up with Don, and then I'm going to sit down with him, show him my investment portfolio, and see how I can eliminate interest.